There have been multiple confirmed rumors over these past couple hours that Nebraska is aggressively pursuing one of the best running back transfers in the portal. So in today's video, I'm going to give you my instant reaction. Who is this guy? What does he bring to the table? Whether or not the Huskers will actually land him, one other running back I have my eyes out for, and so much more, along with my reaction to all the bowl game projections. They are getting crazy. Not only where Nebraska will play, but against who, a couple other transfer portal nuggets, some players I expect to pursue, some recruiting news that just dropped, a huge conversation around Emmett Johnson. His hype is through the roof, whether it's for all the awards, the Heisman, All-American, All-Big Ten. We'll talk about whether or not he'll actually win anything, whether or not he'll actually play in the bowl game. I have a nugget there in his NFL draft stock, and then we'll wrap up the video with a big time question that I want you to be part of at the end. So really quick, this is a loaded update. I'm fired up. If you are to hit that like button, or if you're having a good Tuesday, hit that like button. And also, if you're a diehard Nebraska fan and are not subscribed, what are you waiting for daily content talking Huskers? It's a no-brainer. It takes 2 seconds. Join the family. Hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much. But without further ado, we have a lot to talk about. I want to get things started with the bowl game projections because they are absolutely crazy. We're getting to that point in the year where they're getting more and more accurate, not only where Nebraska is going to play, but against who. Then we'll get to all the transfer portal nuggets, all the news from today, the big conversation around Emmett Johnson. But starting things off with the bowl game, I've seen really 3 destinations pop up more than others, and we'll talk about it. But you have number 1, which is the ReliaQuest Bowl. This is from Athlon Sports. They expect Nebraska to play a familiar foe, the Oklahoma Sooners. We forget that was the rumor last year. The rumor last year was Nebraska was going to play Oklahoma, whether it was in this exact bowl game or in the Nashville bowl game. Of course, that didn't end up happening. Nebraska ended their season pretty poorly and made it to the Pinstripe Bowl. But still, we forget that last year, a lot of these bowls, they wanted Nebraska to play Oklahoma. It might happen again. That would be very enticing, not only for the fans to attend, but also for the TV rating. So I've seen a lot of the ReliaQuest Bowl. This is a bowl game that I've seen, honestly, more than any other. If you go on pretty much any prediction, you never saw this bowl game a couple weeks ago, but now it's really popping up for the Huskers. This is the Las Vegas Bowl versus Cal. So again, this is by CBS Sports, the Big Ten foe versus a Pac-12 team, an old Pac-12 team, whether they're in the Big Ten, whether they're now in the Big 12. So I've seen Nebraska versus Cal, I've seen Nebraska versus Arizona State, I've seen Nebraska against a couple other schools, but this is a bowl game that's really surging. We'll talk about whether or not that's actually an outcome, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know really what's going on behind the scenes, but a lot of them expect Nebraska to be in Las Vegas. I would not love that bowl game, to be honest with you, just because you'd play a team that really doesn't have the best fans in Cal. You're going to Las Vegas, which I don't believe is a great destination for a multitude of reasons. Don't really want to get into that. But again, I've seen that a lot as of recent. And then the one that's still cropped up more than others, and this is my actual prediction back in June. I told you guys I think it's going to be the Nashville Bowl, and I think it's going to be against LSU, and this has been that case according to College Football News that just dropped earlier today. They expect us to play the Tigers in the Music City Bowl. So that's the one where I think is still probably the most likely outcome for Nebraska. Honestly, you know, I know the Las Vegas Bowl has really been the trend as of recent, but I don't think that's going to happen for Nebraska. I'll tell you right now, I think there's a 1% chance Nebraska makes the Las Vegas Bowl. Really, I think they'd much prefer to have USC, or they much prefer to have Washington. They're really not going to go after Nebraska just because of a multitude of reasons. I think they'd rather have like an old Pac-12 rematch as well. So I don't expect Nebraska to make the Las Vegas Bowl. Nebraska, I think, would be more inclined to go to one of 3. Really, if you lose out, if you go 7-5 to end the season, I expect us to make Nashville. If you go 1-1 and you enter your 8-4, I expect Nebraska to make Tampa. That'll be good enough to go to the ReliaQuest Bowl. And if you can win out, if you can go 9-3, the bowl game that nobody's talking about, but I do believe they really want the Huskers, if the wins are good enough, is the Citrus Bowl, which is in Orlando. That's pretty much the best Big Ten bowl game. So those are the 3 that I really expect Nebraska to go to. I just think Las Vegas is completely off the table. I think the Phoenix Bowl game's off the table. We're not going to that one, along with any others. It's really down to those 3 teams. And also, it's going to be an SEC squad. No matter what bowl game out of those 3, it's going to be an SEC team. I've seen a lot. I've seen Missouri. I'd be a fan playing Missouri, old Big 12 foe. I've seen a lot of Oklahoma, as you'd expect, which I think that's going to be what a lot of Nebraska fans are pushing for. I've actually seen a lot of Tennessee as of recent. I've seen some Texas in there, and I've seen a lot of LSU. So regardless, it's going to be an SEC team who's very talented, very good, a lot of energy, and also they're going to bring a lot of fans. It's going to be really fun leading up to it. So let me know down below, what do you think is going to happen? And also, what do you want to happen? Who do you want to play and where? I'll tell you right now, I don't really want to go to Nashville, whether it's for the team. I want a vacation for the players. I want these guys to go over to Orlando or go to Tampa, then go to Disney World. They can have fun, and again, they can go out there and ball out, hopefully get a victory, gets a really, really good SEC team. I want to play the best team possible. Really. And I don't care if we win or lose. I just want that for the future of this program to have a really good bowl game in our resume. If we win, that's awesome. If we lose, that's awesome. Just having that experience is going to be valuable going into next year. All right, let me know your thoughts about all the bowl games. Now let's get to all of the transfer portal nuggets because there's a lot of it. There was an article written by Husker Max that came out that dynamic running back transfer Dylan Edwards is expected to be pursued by Nebraska, according to a couple sources. Now, Dylan Edwards is somebody who Nebraska fans, we are very familiar with him for a multitude of reasons. Of course, he was a big-time four-star recruit coming out of Kansas. We know that he visited Nebraska multiple times. Nebraska, I believe, was in his top 3, but he had a very, let's just call it what it is, tumultuous recruiting process. He initially committed to K-State. He decommitted. Then he committed to Notre Dame. Then he decommitted from them. Then he went to Colorado last second. He stayed at Colorado. He played against Nebraska in 2023 when they beat us. He played very well. Then after the season, he transferred from Colorado, went back to K-State, and now he's transferring from K-State. So Dylan Edwards, while Nebraska has a history with him, there was a lot of rumors the first time around when he entered the portal, when he left Colorado, that Nebraska was going to pursue him, and they never called him. They never called him. Matt Rhule never called Dylan Edwards when he went over to K-State, even though, again, there were some rumors they would. They never did. So Dylan Edwards, while he's super talented, the stats speak for themselves. He's incredibly speedy, shifty. I mean, he's a home run threat. He's somebody who can get involved in the passing attack too. So there's a lot to like. Despite all that, he's a head case. He just is. He does not fit this Nebraska culture. He does not fit this Matt Rhule culture. I would be shocked if Nebraska actually pursues him. So again, I was reading the article by Husker Max. They basically just said Nebraska's going to go after him because we went after him in the first time around the portal. Well, we never actually recruited him the first time in the portal. We recruited him in high school, sure, but the rumors that we were trying to get him the first time in the portal, that never happened. We never actually called him. So I don't expect Nebraska to get down that work just because the talent's there, but he's just not somebody we want to get involved with, because again, there's a lot of there's not a bunch of off the field issues, but he's somebody who is I over the team, me over the team, right? That's the type of guy he is, and that's just with his track record of all the decommitments, all the transfers. It's just best if Nebraska probably doesn't get involved, and that's exactly what I expect us to do. I don't think we will go after him despite being talented. However, I heard a really interesting rumor, and this one isn't even a rumor. This was a confirmed bit that I heard from somebody I trust in the transfer portal. It's getting to that part of the year. I tell you guys, I know a lot about the portal. A lot of people tell me stuff. Now, Caden Durham is somebody I have my eyes out for. He's not in the portal just yet, but he's expected to enter the portal from what I've been hearing. Again, coming out of LSU, has about 400 rushing yards this year, 5 yards a carry. Somebody who's kind of a dual back and kind of a short yardage back, but very talented former 4-star. Just would watch out for this name, but just know this. Whoever it is, Nebraska will land at least one running back transfer. I would expect 2. I honestly think 2 running backs are going to come to Nebraska, and one's going to be a power back and one's going to be a speed back. And this is somebody who can do a little bit of both. But just watch out for this name. But Nebraska, they've already been getting ready. Trust me on that one. EJ Barthel's getting ready. They're going to try to replace Emmett Johnson any way they can, and that's going to be through the portal, not the high school ranks. Then a couple other portal players I have my eyes out for who I think you should as well. Elijah McKenzie is entering the portal. He is he's coming out of D2 football, and he has 16 pass breakups this year, 33 tackles, 2 forced fumbles, and 1 interception. And you want to know why this is really interesting to me? He's coming out of one of the best D2 schools. This is the Indiana formula. They get production over stars. They get production over where you come from. So you want to know why Indiana's so good? Because they don't have all the NIL money in the world. They got players like him, like Elijah McKenzie, who are coming from D2, coming from FCS, from these lower level G4 schools, and they're saying, you know what, we're going to take a chance on you. We're not going to offer you a bunch of NIL, but we're going to hope that you're as productive as you were at whatever level of football you were playing at. And that's why they're as good as they are. So Nebraska, we know that the secondary is going to be completely brand new next year. We're replacing pretty much almost everybody, whether it's Sear Wright, Sean Singleton, Marcus Buford. Some players might transfer. We'll talk about that in a later video, potentially in tomorrow's video. But just know that somebody I expect Nebraska to go after for sure. At least be interested. They'll at least give them a call because, again, I think we might take 4 or 5 players in the secondary. It's going to be that much of an overhaul. And then it was just announced that a very similar player, Kenyon Gardner, is entering the portal. He's also coming out of, again, lower level of football, but he had 14 sacks in 2025, 2 years of eligibility, incredible build at 6'4", 230 pounds. So again, there's a lot of really good players who are in these lower ranks who in Nebraska. Again, the reason why it's also nice to go after these guys, not only are they productive, but you don't have to pay them as much money as some of these like Alabama transfers, these Georgia transfers, and these guys could arguably be better because their statistics speak for themselves. And for whatever reason, they're at the lower level of football. It might not always because they aren't talented. It might be because their grades aren't very good, right? So they weren't recruited, so they had to go to a D2 school or a D3 school. They might have to go JUCO, right? So There's a million variables why these really good studs are at these bottom tier schools, but I expect Nebraska to potentially be involved with him. That's somebody I have my eyes out for. But the stats speak for themselves. 14 sacks. That's pretty incredible. All right, let's get to a couple recruiting nuggets that just dropped. Again, we had a huge recruiting update earlier on the channel that if you haven't watched that, make sure to. But it was just announced that Nebraska has offered Dylan Berrymon, who is a top 100 player in the class of 2026. And guess what? He plays on the defensive line. He just decommitted from Texas. So again, we just offered him about 20 hours ago. But ever since then, it's been expected Nebraska might get him on a visit versus Iowa. We might be able to land him. So Dylan Berrymon, somebody I would watch out for. Again, very, very big time guy. Can play nose, can play 3 tech, brawler in the run game. Obviously, he's a big time recruit. If he was committed to Texas, has all the offers you can imagine. But again, I told you guys, the Huskers, they're very aggressive on this D line. They know they still have to land probably 2 or 3 guys when it's all said and done. We only got a month till signing day. So Lewis, I told you guys I expect him to land with Nebraska, and this is another guy who, again, if we can get him on a visit, I think things are going to move pretty quickly to get him here. And then also, it was reported by On3 about a couple hours ago with another defensive lineman, this time in the class of 27, that Nebraska is right now the favorite to land Miles Smith, who is also basically a top 200 player in his respective class, another 3 tech, who's 6'3", 300 pounds. And I told you guys a little bit of a nugget in my earlier video that he was actually at not only Nebraska versus USC, he was at Nebraska versus UCLA, which was a road game, and he was there as a UCLA recruit, but he wasn't there to watch UCLA. He was there to watch Nebraska alongside one of his good buddies, Elijah Harmon. So I'm just telling you, like, these recruits, winning in California is huge for all those California prospects. So Miles Smith, right now, we are the favorite. Let's see if the Huskers can get him to commit by the end of the year. And then want to have a conversation real quick about Emmett Johns before we wrap up the video with a question for you guys that I absolutely want you to answer. But, I know there's been a lot of hype around Emmett. Obviously, he just received the National Player of the Week according to the Maxwell Award, which is awesome. Of course, he's in the Heisman race. I wanted to show you guys this. So the Heisman Trophy, they posted a tweet or something like, put in the comment section, what player you want to vote for to win the Heisman. If you look at the comment section, it's literally all Emmett Johnson over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. It's just Emmett Johnson. So I'm telling you, man, like, the national media is not waking up on Emmett, but we're forced him to wake up. So again, he's been winning all these awards. It's really good to see. And I told you guys, I think if Emmett Johnson ends the year strong, if he gets, I'm just going to say 400 yards in the next 2 games. I know that's that's a high bar, but if he can get 400 yards in the next 2 games versus Penn State, was one of the worst run Ds in America. Iowa, of course, is a really good run D, but still, if he can get 400 rushing yards in the next 2 games, I think it will get him an invite to New York City. I don't think he's going to win the Heisman. I think that's kind of off the table with him just being a running back. If Ashton Jeanty didn't win the Heisman last year, Emmett's not going to win it, unfortunately. But at the very minimum, I just want him to get an invite. I want him to be there, get an all expenses paid, free trip over to New York City, have a chair. And I think if he ends the year strong at 400 yards, that's a high bar, trust me, but he needs to do that in order to get the attention of this national media, in order to get him some respect, especially over a guy like Jeremiah Love. So 400 yards, that's what I'm expecting for Emmett. And also, I know there's a lot of conversations like, is he going to leave for the NFL? I do expect him to go to the NFL after this year. He absolutely should. I think he'll be a 3rd round draft pick, maybe 4th rounder. He probably should be a 2nd rounder, but the thing around Emmett is that he's just not going to test very well. Like, he's not... The NFL really cares about speed, okay? And if you run a 4.5 or a 4.6, that's just not really good enough for the NFL, or it should at least be like a really high draft pick. So that's why I think it's going to hold Emmett back. Like, he's expected to have like a 4.6 40 time, maybe 4.5 at the very best. So I do expect him to be probably 3rd or 4th rounder, but that's definitely going to be good enough to leave Nebraska. And also, to clear it up, he's not going to play in the bowl game. So I know there's some people like, oh, maybe he'll play in the bowl game. He won't, unless it's the Citrus Bowl. If it's the Citrus Bowl, I think he'll play. But if we're making like the Nashville Bowl, Emmett Johnson's going to sit out, which again, that should be the expectation with a guy of his stature trying to save himself for the combine. And then one last thing, I want to ask you this question. I'll ask you actually 2 questions. Number 1, who's better? Who had the better career with Nebraska? Of course, we haven't seen the entire career with Emmett just yet, but who had a better career? Emmett Johnson or AMEER Abdullah? Because I've seen that actually been thrown out a lot over these past couple days, over these past couple weeks. Like, a lot of people actually think Emmett's better. I'll tell you right now, I do think AMEER had a better career. And not only, because he had 2 seasons. He had 2 seasons where he was that guy. He was in the Heisman race as well, very similar to Emmett. People forget about that. He was a 2nd round draft pick. He was involved in not only, in the running game, but in the passing attack as well. So I'll stick with AMEER. the statistics speak for themselves. He averaged 6 yards to carry, a little bit better than AMEER. He had 19 touchdowns, right? So I'm gonna stick with AMEER having the better career. Again, Emmett has 2 games to still prove me wrong, but I mean, both those guys are really productive running backs. But I want your opinion. Who do you think had a better career? And also, I think AMEER just had a little bit more of a home run threat. Like, you need a big run. You know, you need to go 70 yards. Give me AMEER. Give me AMEER to do that. But again, both are 1A, 1B, and I probably put AMEER at 1A. But again, let me know your thoughts down below. That's a question for you. And then the last question, I was thinking about this earlier today. We wore 3 alternate uniforms this year. Which one did you like the best? Did you like the all reds? Did you like the cursed all whites, as some people like to say? Or did you like the all blacks the most? Let me know in the comment section. I'll tell you right now, and this is going to be controversial, I like the all whites the most. I know people call them cursed, and honestly, you might not be wrong. I've been on the train that no uniforms cursed, but after, you know, blowing the Indiana game and the Minnesota game, I'm like, oh my goodness, okay, maybe they are. But no, I still love the all whites. We should wear them forever until we uncurse them. So wear them in the bowl game, for crying out loud. Wear them against Penn State. Why not? But these were pretty clean. I just didn't like. I feel like I really liked that, of course, they added pink to the helmets for breast cancer awareness. But I feel like if you're going to put the pink on the helmets, you should have put pink on the uniforms. Like, you got to go all in. Like, it's that good of a cause. You can't go 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Like, if you're going to support breast cancer awareness the right way, next year, if you're going to do all whites, have some pink accents actually on the uniform as well. But I really still like the all whites the most. I'd probably go the all black second. I like the all blacks. They were pretty quiet. I don't know if we'll do the blackout every single year, but I think it'll be something we see again. So maybe not next year, but it might be, we'll see it a couple times in the decade, right? And then, in my opinion, the last one was the all reds. I just told you guys, I don't really love the all reds. Like, they're just not my favorite combo. Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of the all reds. I would not be mad if we put those back in the vault, never wore them again. Just because there's something about them that just look like pajamas to me. I can't explain it. I feel the same way about the NFL, though. I don't like it when, like, NFL teams wear the same color uniform unless it's like black or it's white. But if it's like all blue, all red in this instance, and plus we had the white helmet, it just looked kind of odd. I don't know. I would be okay if we never wore those again. But again, let me know your thoughts down below. That's what it's all about. You feel free to disagree with me. Let me know your thoughts. All right, guys. Let me know your thoughts about everything, right? The bowl game direction, the transporter. Let me know what you're thinking. Hey, if you made this far, hit that like button and subscribe. As always, folks, go grad, go Met roll. And I'll see you in the next one.